There are two mistakes that people usually make when it comes to self mastery, understanding themselves, and working on their dreams and working on their goals. The first mistake that people make is that they actually don't start. We take a lot of time writing down the goals, setting goals, making action plans, doing the research, trying to understand the field that you're trying to go into, trying to understand the situation that you are trying to get into or solve or resolve. And a lot of times people get stuck in the planning phase. They don't actually start the work. And I think it's important that you actually start from where you are at. Yes, it's good to research. Yes, it's good to try and understand and figure things out before you start doing them. It's good to have an action plan. It's good to set goals. However, I think starting on the goal and understanding it as you go along is the best option, because that's when you get to actually be in the field and understand the full scope of whatever it is that you are trying to do, because you are actually doing it, and you will get to understand the things that stop you or the challenges that you face by actually being there than reading from it, because it's a different experience. When you are reading somebody else's experience and not actually being in the experience, so that you get information that you can prove because you are actually in the field and doing the work. So a lot of people don't really start with their dreams. They always make excuses that I don't have enough equipment, I don't have enough money to start something, I don't have. There's always excuses to keep you from doing what you need to do to get to the goals that you're trying to achieve. And a lot of times, that is the reason why people don't actually start and do the work. That's the first mistake. And the second mistake, which is the most common one mistake, if you are able to actually start and overcome the first mistake of not starting, getting stuck in the plans, the moment you start doing the work on understanding yourself or working on the dream or goal that you have for your life, things start becoming challenging. Things start becoming hard, and there's a lot of work that needs to go into that. There's a lot of sacrifices that you have to take in order to align yourself, or continue rather, in the journey of self-understanding, in the journey of reaching the potential of the goals that you're trying to get to. And a lot of times when people face challenges, that's when they take a break, or they too, you know what, I'm okay with being human and every now and then facing challenges and taking a back seat, or resting, or being in the failure and not doing anything and taking a break. I'm all for that. But it's important to understand that it's good to take a break, it's good to rest. However, you mustn't rest for too long, because when you miss a good habit and you replace that good habit with a bad one, and you consistently continue missing and making excuses for not continuing on the journey that you want to pursue, you are actually creating a new habit that keeps you from continuing in the journey of understanding self, or in the journey of continuing and trying to reach your goals and your dreams, because now the challenges are keeping you from your dreams. Instead, I think it's important that you actually face the challenges and overcome the challenges, and find ways in which you can navigate those challenges. It's nothing happening in the world around you should keep you from continuing the journey of reaching your dreams, or the journey of understanding self. A lot of people make the mistake of quitting before they reach their full potential. A lot of people make the mistake of quitting before. Why start in the first place if you are not going to see the entire thing through? Do the work and see what happens. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Yes, you might lose friends, you might lose thinking patterns, you might lose a lot of your old self that is keeping you from your goals. But if you keep working, you are going to reach your dreams only by doing what? By continuing the journey, even when there's challenges, even when you are tired, even when things don't look like they are working, even when you fail, you get up and you keep doing the work. I think it's very important. A lot of people make the mistake of quitting. And I understand this because understanding self and working on yourself, on self-improving, is not an easy thing. There's days where you're tired and you don't want to do the work. There's days like that. That's the reality of it. And I understand why people look at me and think I am irritating, or rather making them see themselves and how much they are not doing for themselves. That triggers people. I understand that. And I also understand that the challenges sometimes get people to go back on their word and stop working on themselves, and they quit or go back to the old patterns because it's easier to go back and be the old version of yourself. It's easier to just let go of the challenges and not try and understand, or rather go through those challenges to go to the other side, or find different perspective or different ways to go around those challenges in order to still continue on the journey of self-understanding, self-mastery, and reaching those dreams and working on those goals. It's a never-ending journey. Growth is a never-ending journey. The moment you stop working on yourself, you stop growing and you die. It's important to continue working on yourself even when you're tired. It's important to continue the journey. Don't make these two mistakes. Not starting, keep on postponing the dreams, keep on postponing the work. That's the first mistake. Don't make that mistake. And once you start, don't stop. Make sure you remember the reason you started. Make sure you remember where you are going and why you chose to go to that place. It's very important. Knowing and remembering those things will keep you moving. There will be opinions, there will be critiques, but when you know why you started and where you are going, and when you understand that there is no ending and there's no stopping, we keep working. That's the only way. You have to be obsessed with your dreams. You have to be obsessed with understanding yourself and working on yourself. And you have to mind your own business. That's how you stay obsessed. You don't compare yourself to other people. You don't compare to yourself to other things that have nothing to do with you. Focus on yourself and work on yourself and do the things that you're supposed to be doing in order to get to where you're trying to go. It's the only way. You don't stop. You don't quit. You keep going. No matter how many times you fall, no matter how many times you fail, you keep going. So don't make the same mistakes. Don't make these two mistakes. Getting stuck in the planning phase and quitting before you get the results. Keep working on yourself and keep understanding yourself. When you stir, when you go in the dungeon, when you stay, those demons that you have within yourself, you understand them and you know how to face those demons and how to win those fights with those demons that everyone has. You have to sit in the darkness and understand the darkness in order to be able to defeat, or rather to go through those darkness so that you get through to the other side. And the more you work, there's new challenges, there's new demons that you need to understand, there's new disciplines that you need to implement. But you don't stop. I'm Shadow, and this is Shadow Work.